Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again. Day 7 of the Olympics, day 7 of competition for the boxers. And before I recap the morning and afternoon sessions in various weight divisions, let me throw a story by you that just popped into our news feed with respect to the Olympic Indian boxing team, who are the headlines in the Times of India. Says no team doctor to attend to Indian boxers' injuries. And this has upset the people of India, apparently. On Thursday, during his bout against Jamaican Ricardo Brown in the 91 kilogram round of 16 at the Tokyo Olympics, Indian super heavyweight boxer Satish Kumar suffered a cut above his right eye. Satish was offered prompt on-ground medical attention by high performance director Santiago Nieva and chief national coach C.A. Kutapa. But there was no Indian team doctor inside the arena to attend to the injury. Similarly, Vikas Krishnan's bout against Japan's Mensa Akaza last Saturday saw the Indian welterweight boxer sustain a cut below his left eye. This time, too, the team doctor wasn't around. It's now been learned that the country's 9-member boxing contingent has been competing in Tokyo without the services of an official team doctor. Team India's doctor, Karanjit Singh, should have been named in the Olympic-bound contingent in the official capacity, but was relegated in the list as an extra official. He's been cooling his heels in a hotel outside the athletes' village, and I'm quoting from the Times of India, cooling his heels. The Tokyo 2020 organizers haven't allowed him venue access on his PTAP, which is a personal training assistant program, accreditation. It's the same with physio Akushu Kande, who too has been killing his time in a Tokyo hotel. Karanjit can only go to the boxers' training sessions on his PTAP accreditation, but can't visit the competition venue. As a result, the boxers suffering cuts or any other injury will have to come to the practice hall outside the athletes' village. I find it hard to believe they can't get proper medical attention after a bout. But anyway, speaking of cuts, let's recap the morning sessions, which saw, among others, Ben Whittaker. We'll start off with the women's lightweight division. And this is where we saw Kelly Harrington out of Ireland defeat Rebecca Nicoli out of Italy, 5-0. And Harrington was again the top seed in this Tokyo Games and proved why she's the top seed. As we all know, Nicola's a decent fighter, but she had very little trouble she had very little to trouble Harrington, who was hoping to follow in Katie Taylor's Olympic footsteps and win gold for Ireland in this division. She'll be now faced off against Iman Khalif out of Algeria, who defeated Miriam Hamrani out of Tunisia, 5-0. It was Khalif who dominated the first. Hamrani didn't land anything, and won on 4 cards in the second 2. So she was really there, basically. The judges also gave her the third, which is probably Hamrani's best round. So again, we have Harrington going off against Khalif in the quarters. And the winner of that will face the winner of this upcoming competition because Caroline Dubois out of Great Britain defeated Rashida Ellis out of the United States, 3-0-2. Another Team USA fighter falls, and that's a fair result. Close fight, but if we had to pick one, we'd have to choose Dubois. 2 judges had it level. Ellis lost a point in the third for a foul. 3 had it for Dubois, who looks a solid fighter, not flawless, but has some obvious skills. And when she moves around and uses her footwork, can be frustrating. A tough outcome for Ellis, who has, she said, probably turned pro, following her brothers Ronald and Rashidi. As we all know, Caroline is also the sister of Daniel Dubois, pro fighter. So she'll be going up against Sudaporn Sisondi out of Thailand, who defeated Simranjit Kaur out of India, 5-0 by the judges' cards. Thought the first was pretty competitive, but Sisondi won every card. Then Sasundi definitely, clearly won the second. It was basically over there. Kaur had no realistic route to victory and didn't find one. So we're going to see Dubois versus Sasundi in the quarters. Or that would be the semis. Sorry. Anyway, the winner's a guaranteed medal anyway. In the women's welterweight in the morning, we saw Benaz Sumaneli out of Turkey defeat Anna Lysenko out of Ukraine, 5-0. Dominance again from the top seed Sumaneli. She had an aggressive style, but it's not without skill. And since she has such aggressive, not making silly mistakes, she isn't reckless. She has an ability to overwhelm opponents and basically lock them up. She's fun to watch as well as being good, and Lysenko couldn't get anywhere done here. So Sumaneli will go against Lovlina Bogohain out of India, who defeated Nian Chen Chen out of Chinese Taipei 4-1. Borgenhain gets through with a mature, steady performance. Jen's clumsiness on offense proving her downfall as much as anything, probably. Borgenhain is a guaranteed bronze, and in all honesty, that's probably what she's getting. Hard to see her matching up too well with Summer Nelly. In the men's welterweight, in the quarterfinals, here we go. We saw, yes, I did see this one too. Pat McCormack defeating Bobo Osman Badarov. I got to say, Badarov really annoyed me. But anyway, and I got to feel sorry for McCormack. McCormack won. Might be a part victory, though, because he did suffer a cut. And he was definitely the classier of the two boxers, not without his own scrappiness. But Badarov really made him work, got aggressive, needed to, but caused a cut right up here on McCormack's eye, which looked to me like a pretty obvious headbutt. But anyway, and it bled and caused for concern among the McCormack team heading into the third for sure. And he had to play it real safe to get through that. But nonetheless, he did, and he's on to face Aiden Walsh, who defeated Mervyn Clare out of Mauritius. So we'll see a British fighter going up against an Irish fighter. You may not really call Walsh dominant in this fight. He was slick and elusive, that's to say the least. And Clare couldn't really land much at all. Walsh now has a tough matchup against McCormack, who seems to have more gears in his game than Clare does. But the Irish fighter is guaranteed at least bronze, and his style makes him tricky for anyone who's on his game. Moving on to the men's light heavyweight division. Again, the winners are guaranteed at least a bronze, so here we go. And this was a great fight, I got to say. Iman Katiev, the Russian, defeated Jalodov out of Spain with a knockout. I think it's the only knockout I've seen. That could be wrong, but it was a really good fight to watch. Jalodov certainly gave it his all. But boy, oh boy, this was a crippling knockout to end the fight. If anyone watched it, it was pretty amazing. Anyway, Katiev has been an absolute blast to watch. He stopped his opponent in round 32, sent top seed Nurdolev packing round 16 and overpowered Jalodov here, busting his nose in the first round and forcing a standing 8 in the second. I think Jalodov had to see the medical doctor at the side of the ring, I think 3 times, and he was bleeding heavily by the time he got knocked out. Anyway, Katiev he's been a bruiser, a real powerhouse, and forces guys to stand in the pocket, and it is all useless on the back foot. He certainly took his foot off the gas in the third as he went well ahead and didn't want to risk anything. So he certainly landed one heck of a brutal shot that put Jalodov down. I hate to laugh, but to see the replay, it was a crippling shot, and certainly what we enjoy and talk about often on Knuckle Up, and certainly the Knockout Show on Sundays here on TalkinFight. Anyway, Ben Whitaker. We'll see Katiev then, because he defeated Kino Machado 3-2, and this was close in the end. This was really close. Whitaker was dancing around the ring, and he literally just snuck past Machado, I think. It was close. Could have gone either way, if you ask me, because I thought Whitaker really didn't take it to Machado. Yes, in my opinion, he won the first 2 rounds, but Machado, I think, won that third round, and it was close, I got to say. So I think Whitaker, if you're listening, Big T, I think your son's got to be a little more serious in the ring. I think it's certainly dawned on him after the fight when he was walking towards the dressing rooms that he is on to the, he's in contention now, I must say. But now he's got to get past Katiev, and your boy Ben, he's tall, he's lanky, and he's got some cockiness. He dances around. But Katiev is wow, he's a tank, I gotta say, man. Powerful build and a real power puncher. So that's going to be a great fight to watch. Anyway, cheers to Ben Whitaker. In the men's heavyweight, we saw, this name right, Gazi Magadomov, the Russian Olympic Committee, who defeated Abdul Jabbar out of Germany 5-0. And I must say, Abdul Jabbar gave it his all. He was a really entertaining fight to watch. That's what it was. It was entertaining because they did trade blows. And realistically, Abdul-Jabbar, he was tough, and he tried to find a way to make this work for him, but it just wasn't happening. Russia was just too good, and he's too skilled. But you have to respect Abdul-Jabbar's effort and his spirit here, and respect Gajmagadev to the Russian than any of the other fighters that the Russians faced so far. So that's going to be another good fight as well. So this is shaping up to be a good last stretch of boxing as we head into the head towards the finals. In the afternoon session, in the women's lightweight division, we saw Beatriz Fiera out of Brazil defeat Shiyi Wu out of Chinese Taipei 5-0. Fiera, as you know, won the Worlds in 2019, and she won some other tournaments in recent years, and was the number 3 seed here in Tokyo. And she's definitely clearly a threat. With good aggression, she comes forward nicely without lunging sloppily, and moves her head well at range, and actually fought better at range despite Wu being notably taller. And so anyways, Fiera will go off against Raikona Khodorova out of Uzbekistan, who defeated Naomi Yumba, Democratic Republic of Congo, 5-0. A strong performance for Khodorova, who now moves on to face Ferreira, clearly more technically sound in this particular fight. And it was just a tough outing for Yumba, who put the work in and tried to get something going, but couldn't find the openings. In the other two fights, we had Ezra Yildiz out of Turkey, who defeated Diana Sanchez out of Argentina, 5-0. Yildiz and Sanchez mixed it up some in the first. Yildiz winning 3 of the 5 cards, but looked like her superior technique would probably take this over at some point, and it did. She didn't totally cruise, but she was a better boxer and moves to the quarterfinals now. Mira Potkonen, powerful, out of Finland, defeated Yeonji Oh out of the Republic of Korea, 4-1. The 40-year-old Potkonen, who was gassed but survived when she beat Hamadouch in round of 32, was also gassed to hell here, but beat Oh, the number 2 seed in the draw. So Potkonen, moved through this fight quite well, and gave the medal contender a real challenge, and came through as a victor. It's interesting to note she won bronze at Rio 2016 and eliminated Katie Taylor there. And she just keeps rolling. She's a very strong person. She's very tough, and it's going to be a good fight against Yildiz. In the women's welterweight, we see Oshai Jones out of the United States defeat Maria Moranta out of the Dominican Republic, 4-1. Team USA have their first guaranteed medalist as Jones advances to the semifinal round. Moranta went down in the second round and just got caught on a good right hook. But Moranta really tried to get aggressive from there and kept it as close as she could and looked to maybe catch Jones in return. Didn't happen, though. Mostly Jones had the better tactical approach here, but man, did Moranta rush on and try to steal victory from the jaws of defeat? Absolutely. In the other battle, Honggu out of China defeated Alcinda Helena Paguana out of Mozambique, 5-0. Gu, the number 2 seed, pretty well dominated here, and she's going to be a very tough matchup for Jones. She's sound, fights clever, keeps range well, and makes opponents waste energy at times. Jones may have to try to lead more than she wants, but she'd also be better to neutralize some of Gu's offense, as Paguana didn't have any answers there. Should be a very interesting matchup. Paguana put everything she had in there, but was never competitive, really. So again, we'll see Gu going toe-to-toe against Jones. Be a good matchup. In the men's welterweight, in the afternoon, we saw Roniel Iglesias out of Cuba defeat Delonte Johnson out of the United States. Another sad day for America. 5-0 by judges' cards. Anyway, experience in being tactically clever put Iglesias over Johnson as much as anything. Iglesias is a 4-time Olympian, won bronze in 2008 and gold in 2012 as a light welterweight. Came up medal short in Rio. His footwork is still good. He's still a smart fighter, but he's not unbeatable. This was always going to be hard work for Johnson as it was, and he lost, and that's fair. But he did some good work here, especially inside, and that often goes without proper credit in the amateur game. Johnson now has some pro prospects, as we all know, at the young age of 22. So good luck to him. Andrei Zhamankovoy out of Russia defeated Eskerhan Madiev out of Georgia, 5-0. Madev made a good, strong, surprising run to get this far into the tournament, but Zamkovoy's skill and experience was just a bit too much. Madev was able to make him at least a little uncomfortable with his pressure, but none of it resulted in effective work. This sets up a great veteran semifinal clash between Iglesias and Zamkovoy, a 4-time Olympian against a 3-time Olympian. In the men's light heavyweight division, we saw Arlen Lopez out of Cuba defeat Rogelio Romero out of Mexico, 5-0. Romero had a very fun round of 16 fight with Luka Palantic out of Croatia, but this is a whole other ball of wax. Lopez, who won gold at Rio 2016 as a middleweight, isn't as quick at this weight as he was then. But he still has terrific timing and technique, switches stances effectively, and just kept clipping Romero with clever shots. The Mexican didn't do as much at all with Lopez, in all honesty, and Lopez went on to victory. In heel fight, Lauren Alfonso Dominguez out of Azerbaijan, who defeated Bayram Malkan out of Turkey, 5-0. This sets up the Cuba versus ex-Cuba semifinal that we talked about the other day, which will be the second such matchup of the tournament. Realistically, we're told that Malcolm was pretty mad with the outcome, but at the end of the day, 5-0, he lost. And it's going to be interesting to see Dominguez go up against Lopez. Alrighty, in the men's heavyweight quarterfinals, we saw Abner Teixeira out of Brazil defeat Hossein Ayashish out of Jordan. This definitely could have gone the other way, but the result isn't a bad one. It was 4-1 by the judges' cards. Ayashish was giving it noble height and reach here, but he gave himself the best chance he had and forced Teixeira into a bit of a brawl. Just spirited action all the way. Teixeira never got the chances to box at distance and couldn't force Ayashish to back down any. So it was a fun back-and-forth fight with great respect shown between the two after some relief also coming from Teixeira. So he'll go on to fight Julio La Cruz out of Cuba, who defeated Emmanuel Reyes-Pla out of Spain, 4-1. La Cruz won gold at Rio in 2016 as a light heavyweight, now as a heavyweight, and here he had to go through a tough test in Reyes-Pla, an ex-Cuban now living and representing Spain. This probably could have gone either way, and it was all on the line with 3 of the 5 judges in the third round who had it even after 2. The other judges had it 2018 to La Cruz and 2018 to Reyes-Pla. La Cruz, just a big crafter, and Reyes-Pla wasn't able to flash the power that saw him eliminate number 2 seed Vasily Levitt in round 16. Wasn't the prettiest or most thrilling fight, but there was mutual respect and a desire for each man to show the other up. In the end, they embraced, and La Cruz goes through to the semis to face Teixeira. And that, my friends, brings us to an end of day 7. And right on. Luke getting clubbed tonight. Ben is trash. Just wait till the quarters. You boys are going to be crying. Yeah, we'll see about that. Oh, my gosh. I'm guessing Aiden's Irish. Okay, all right. Where you from, Aiden? Yeah, I would agree with that comment. Aiden Walsh's style of running around the ring to avoid getting punched and striking occasionally makes a lot of sense for his camp, but certainly didn't make for an entertaining fight, that's for sure. And like I said in my comments about Ben's fight, Big T, I think Ben's got to play a smarter game here. You know, he's got to go into the ring with a little more competitive fire. He was dancing and trying to make fun of his opponent and nearly lost. So if I were Ben, I'd be a little more careful in going to this next round. Anyway, lads, well, I would agree with you, Ray. It is about hitting, and that's where I thought, it was close, and I didn't think there's much margin for error, and realistically, all I'm saying is Ben has to be careful. He's got to play a much tighter, much more aggressive style in his next fight. Well, I'll tell you this, Pat McCormack, I felt sorry for him because he's going to have a tough fight next round. with that cut, if someone opens that up again, he's gonna get shut down. Nah. Keyshawn would have been in last year's games if they'd held it last year. He's only had 3 pro fights. He's pretty proud of where he's at. Hey, Carl. Time of crank is a Dylan. Is that right? All right, lads. I'll be off. Yes. Keyshawn isn't for a tough fight. I agree. America's best hope for gold is she's the one. That's kind of funny. Yes. Well, we'll see about Keyshawn. He's in for a tough fight, but he's probably the men's best hope for a medal. Anyway. All right, I'll just fade back into the distance here and watch you guys argue. Yeah. Big T, you should go visit Last Bell Boxing, and Aiden, if you want a good scrap, you should go join the boys at Last Bell Boxing and enter their ring and have a good scrap. Anyway, lads, I'll see you tomorrow.